Who truly rules the world? Is it the leaders we see on television, or is there a hidden power operating from behind the scenes? Now imagine this. What if those hidden rulers weren't even human? Sounds impossible, right? Yet some believe this is the shocking truth. Today, we're diving into one of the most bizarre, debated, and fascinating theories of all time, the Reptilians. According to this theory, our planet is controlled by a race of shape-shifting reptilian beings who blend into society by appearing human. But who are they? Where did they come from? And most importantly, what do they want? Let's take a moment to look back. Across the globe, from ancient Egypt to China and the Americas, serpents and reptilian figures have held significant roles in mythology and culture. In Egypt, Sobek, the crocodile-headed deity, symbolized strength and protection. In Mesoamerican mythology, Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, represented wisdom and renewal. Even in Hindu and Buddhist traditions, the Naga were revered as powerful and mystical beings. Is it mere coincidence that so many civilizations depicted these creatures, or is there a deeper, hidden connection? Could these myths point to encounters with beings that transcend our understanding? Fast forward to modern times. The reptilian theory gained traction in the 1990s, popularized by British author and conspiracy theorist David Icke. According to Icke, a group of extraterrestrial reptilian overlords, known as the Draconians, manipulate humanity from the shadows. They allegedly hold positions of power as world leaders, celebrities, and corporate elites. Queen Elizabeth II, US presidents, global icons. These are just a few of the names whispered in connection with this theory. But how much of it is fact, and how much is fantasy? Some claim the evidence is overwhelming. Blurry footage of supposed shape-shifting, strange glitches in live broadcasts, and ancient symbols that seem to align with reptilian imagery. But skeptics argue that these are coincidences, technical errors, or simply overactive imaginations. Yet the question remains, why do so many people continue to believe? What is it about this theory that captures the minds of millions? In this video, we're not just exploring the theory itself, but also the psychology, the cultural roots, and the possible science behind it. Whether you're a believer, a skeptic, or simply curious, this journey will challenge your perspective on reality. So buckle up. This isn't just a story about conspiracy. It's a story about humanity's endless search for answers. Let's begin. To understand the roots of the reptilian conspiracy, we need to travel back, way back, to a time when myths were the cornerstone of human understanding. Long before technology and science could explain the mysteries of the world, people turned to stories. And in these stories, one creature seemed to slither its way into countless cultures: the serpent. Take ancient Mesopotamia, for instance. In the Sumerian creation myth, the serpent represents both wisdom and deceit. The Bible's book of Genesis tells of a cunning serpent in the Garden of Eden, persuading humanity to seek forbidden knowledge. Moving eastward, Hindu mythology introduces the Nagas, semi-divine serpent beings, revered as both protectors and threats, coexisting with gods and humans alike. Now pause for a moment. These aren't isolated examples. Across Africa, South America, Asia, and Europe, serpents appear as symbols of transformation, power, and duality. But why serpents? Why do these slithering creatures hold such universal significance? Some theorists suggest it wasn't just coincidence or symbolism. Could these myths be inspired by something or someone real? Picture this. Thousands of years ago, a technologically advanced species visits Earth. Unable to fully grasp what they've encountered, Ancient humans immortalize these beings in the only way they know how, through art, stories, and worship. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. Look closely at the depictions of Sobek in ancient Egypt or Quetzalcoatl among the Aztecs. Do they look entirely like snakes? Number these beings often possess humanoid traits, bodies resembling humans, but heads or features that echo reptiles. To some, this detail isn't artistic interpretation, it's evidence. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before we jump into extraterrestrial theories, consider this. Serpents were also a natural part of these civilizations' daily lives. They were both feared and revered. Maybe they became symbols of life, death, and rebirth because of how they shed their skin, a powerful metaphor for transformation. So, which is it? A symbol, born of human imagination, or the remnants of ancient encounters with beings beyond our understanding? One thing is certain: the serpent has left its mark on human culture, planting the seeds for the reptilian myth that persists today. And as we step into the modern era, the myth doesn't disappear. It evolves. But into what? Let's find out. Fast forward to the late 20th century, and the reptilian myth takes on a new provocative form. Enter David Icke, a former footballer, turned broadcaster, turned one of the most controversial conspiracy theorists of our time. In the 1990s, Icke introduced the world to the concept of the reptilian elite, a secret cabal of shape-shifting reptilian beings who control humanity from the shadows. According to Icke, these beings hail from the Draco constellation and have infiltrated the highest levels of society, politics, media, finance. They allegedly feed off our negative energy and use fear and division to maintain control. But how did this idea gain so much traction? At the heart of Icke's theory lies the idea of a matrix-like reality, where humanity is enslaved by unseen forces. For many, this resonated deeply. In a world where power often feels concentrated in the hands of a few, the idea of hidden puppet masters manipulating events from behind the scenes feels strangely plausible. And then there's the so-called evidence, glitches in live broadcasts that seem to show figures with reptilian eyes, historical accounts of leaders described with serpent-like traits, even ancient texts that reference serpent gods ruling over mankind. To believers, this isn't coincidence, it's a pattern. But skeptics argue it's all a misunderstanding. The evidence can be explained by video compression errors, lighting, or simple pareidolia, our brain's tendency to see familiar patterns where none exist. So, what's the truth? Whether you see Icke as a prophet or a provocateur, his theories have sparked endless debate, creating a modern mythology that captivates millions. But here's the real question. If these reptilians do exist, what do they want? Let's talk about evidence, or what some call evidence. In the age of the internet, we've seen countless videos, images, and personal accounts that claim to expose the existence of reptilians, shape-shifting glitches during live broadcasts, unexplained eye movements, and even eyewitness stories of encounters with serpent-like beings. For believers, these are irrefutable signs of an alien presence. But here's the thing: every piece of proof comes with its own set of questions. Take, for example, the infamous live television glitches. Many claim these moments capture world leaders revealing their true reptilian forms. Yet skeptics argue it's nothing more than a technical glitch, artifacts of video compression or lighting that distort what we see. And what about the accounts of people who swear they've seen reptilians in the flesh? Could it be hallucinations, misidentifications, or the power of suggestion? After all, our brains are wired to find patterns, even where none exist. Then there's the symbolism. Ancient carvings, mysterious symbols in corporate logos, and even recurring themes in pop culture. Some claim these are deliberate clues left by the reptilian elite as a way of hiding in plain sight. Others believe it's pure coincidence. Humans have always been fascinated by serpents, long before modern conspiracy theories took hold. But maybe the real question isn't about the evidence itself. Maybe it's about what we choose to believe. When we look at these videos and stories, are we seeing reality? Or are we projecting our fears and imaginations onto them? One person's proof is another person's illusion. And in the world of reptilian conspiracies, the line between the two has never been blurrier. Why do so many people believe in reptilian conspiracies? Is it the allure of mystery, the thrill of uncovering hidden truths, or something deeper rooted in our psychology? Let's step back and explore the human mind for a moment. Humans are storytellers. From ancient myths to modern-day conspiracies, we've always sought to make sense of the unknown. In psychology, there's a concept called pattern recognition. Our brains are wired to find meaning in chaos, even when there's none to be found. It's a survival mechanism. Spotting patterns could mean the difference between life and death for our ancestors. But sometimes, this same mechanism leads us astray, making us see connections and threats that don't actually exist. Now, pair that with cognitive biases, like confirmation bias, where we seek out information that supports what we already believe, and you've got fertile ground for conspiracies to thrive. Then there's the matter of control, or more specifically, the lack of it. When the world feels unpredictable or chaotic, conspiracies offer a strange kind of comfort. They give us an explanation, a scapegoat, and sometimes even a solution. Believing in reptilian overlords controlling the world might sound terrifying, but it also provides a framework, a way to make sense of complex global events. Economic crashes, political corruption, social unrest. It's easier to blame a shadowy, all-powerful group than to confront the messy, often random reality of human life. But not all believers fit into a single mold. For some, it's about community, finding a group of like-minded individuals who share a sense of purpose. For others, it's simply fun, a modern myth to explore, a what-if that sparks the imagination. So, are reptilian conspiracies a reflection of something external, or a mirror held up to our own fears, desires, and need for understanding? The truth might lie not in the stars, but in the depths of our own minds. You might have heard the term reptilian brain before. It's often used to describe the oldest part of the human brain, the basal ganglia. But what exactly is it? And does it have anything to do with the reptilian conspiracy? Let's break it down. The basal ganglia, sometimes called the reptilian brain, is responsible for basic survival instincts: fight, flight, feeding, and reproduction. It's a term rooted in evolutionary science, referencing the brain structures shared between humans and reptiles. But here's the catch. The name is a metaphor. It doesn't mean we're secretly reptiles in disguise. That hasn't stopped some theorists from drawing connections. They argue that the reptilian brain is evidence of our shared ancestry with these so-called alien overlords. They point to our instincts, our aggression, even our tendency to form hierarchies as proof of a deeper reptilian influence. Scientists, however, disagree. While it's true that the limbic system is one of the oldest parts of the brain, there's no evidence linking it to anything extraterrestrial. Instead, it's a fascinating glimpse into our evolutionary past, a reminder of where we came from and how far we've evolved. Still, the metaphor persists, perhaps because it feels oddly fitting. This idea that deep within us lies something primal, something ancient, something reptilian. But does that mean we're connected to actual reptilian overlords? Science says no, but belief? That's another story. From blockbuster films to best-selling novels, the idea of reptilian beings has slithered its way into our pop culture. Think of the cold, calculating lizards in V, or the shape-shifting Skrulls in Marvel's cinematic universe. Even dragons, the mythical guardians of treasure and wisdom, carry a hint of reptilian allure. But why are we so fascinated by them? Maybe it's their mystery, the way they represent something otherworldly, yet eerily familiar. Or perhaps it's their symbolism. In storytelling, reptiles often embody duality, wisdom and deceit, protection and danger, creation and destruction. And let's not forget the darker side of their impact. Reptilian conspiracies have also fueled real-world paranoia, sometimes with dangerous consequences. From accusations against public figures to baseless fears of hidden agendas, the line between fiction and belief isn't always clear. Whether they're heroes, villains, or cosmic overlords, one thing's certain: reptilians have left a mark on our collective imagination. They've become more than just a conspiracy. They're a cultural phenomenon. So, what do you believe? Are reptilians real, a hidden species pulling the strings of humanity? Or are they the product of our fears, our imagination, and our endless quest for meaning? Belief is a powerful thing. It shapes how we see the world, how we interact with others, and even how we understand ourselves. For some, believing in reptilians offers a sense of purpose, a way to explain the unexplainable. For others, it's a thrilling story, a what-if, that sparks curiosity and debate. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real power of the reptilian conspiracy. Not whether it's true or false, but how it makes us question everything we think we know. Because in the end, isn't that what all great mysteries do? Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next deep dive into history's greatest mysteries. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and stay curious.